Hi, the purpose of this video is twofold. One is to show students how to access the resources in MyLab, and two, how to get to the assignments in MyLab. So I'm using this as an example for Unit 1. You can see here when we come into Unit 1 that I have listed here all the tasks that need to be done and how to accomplish those tasks over here. So part of this is that you have to teach yourself the material or use the resources here to teach yourself the material, and then there will be questions or simulations that you need to accomplish or discussion board post in order to prove that you've learned those concepts. So here you can see if I scroll down, the first thing I want you to do is to learn the computer concepts chapter, and I tell you in detail here where to go in MyLab to locate that information. So this purpose of this video is I'm going to show you how you get there from here. So you need to click here on the MyLab IT course content link. You're presented with two e-texts. Basically, Skills for Success is one of our books, Technology in Action is the other. This is the full e-text for both books. You don't actually need to go into these unless there's an assignment within those books or if you want to read the chapters of the book. Now below that you'll see Unit 1, and so that's our first unit that we're going to have homework assignments in after our Get Started one. So I'm going to click on the Unit 1 right here. And then you see there's three different options. One is the Getting Started with Computer Concepts Learning Resources. So this is a chapter in the Skills for Success book, which is why you see the SS. And resources mean those are materials that you need to use to learn the material. And then Common Features of Windows and Office Learning Resources. And then down here we have an Assignments folder. So let's walk up here through the first one. We're going to click on basically the best thing. You can click here on the folder itself, or you can click on the words of the folder. I usually click on the words to the folder. So now there are three different options for learning the material. One is an audio PowerPoint presentation, which is the one that I recommend for this particular chapter. Basically, it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation that's going to talk to you. And then there's just the presentation itself, which you could do if you prefer that over listening. And then there is the textbook chapter, so you could read the textbook. And that's why I say you don't really need the full book, because this will bring you to the actual chapter that you need, okay? So these are the three different ways. You don't have to do all of them. I recommended the audio PowerPoint one for this particular chapter, but you can choose the one that works best for your learning style. Okay, so now once I've completed this and I've listened to the presentation or learned the material for this chapter, the next thing I want to do is go back up a level. So you can see here that this would bring me to my course. This would bring me back up to Unit 1, and this would just keep me where I am, back in the resources folder. So I want to go up a level, so I'm going to come here and click on Unit 1, and that brings me back up within the Unit 1 level. And so if I go back to my content up at the top here, back to my Blackboard, I see that I have these end of chapter questions. So now that I've learned the computer concepts, I now want to do the end of chapter questions. So I can click on this link, Computer Concept End of Chapter Questions, and what that will do is it will bring me into MyLab and bring me directly to that particular assignment. And then I'm going to walk through here and answer these questions. You can see there's 11 different questions. You're going to answer the question, go to the next question, next question, next question. When you get to the end, you're going to hit Finish Submit for grading. You'll notice that you have Save for Later, so if you decide that you want to save it for later, that's fine. At any point in time, what's useful is if you have two different tabs open, you can look at your e-text at the same time. So you can see here I have a tab here that would get me to my particular e-text, so I could look at the book. So if I don't remember, I can look it up, right? And that's okay. That's the whole purpose, is that you're learning. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to submit that for grading. So now you're going to go back to Blackboard, and you're going to move on down here. In the next chapter, there's another chapter here that you need to learn. And in this one, I recommend using the 10 short videos, and I say here in the Common Features Learning Resources folder. So we're going to come back to MyLab, and again, you could use this link here, the MyLab IT course content, or if you still have it open, you can go back to it over here, and that's the second folder that's listed here. So I'm going to click on this second folder. And this time I see, okay, here's the e-text, so that's the Common Features electronic text for this chapter. And here are the videos that Gina was talking about. So in this case, I think the videos are better than the PowerPoint presentation, so I'm going to click on these videos. And these are short videos. Don't be afraid that there's so many. There's 10 of them, but they're skill-based, so they're shortened videos, and I think they're very good. So you can just click on them and watch each one to learn the material. Okay, and then once you've done that, you're going to come back. You can come back up if you choose to. You can read the book material using the e-text, or you can look over the PowerPoint presentations. And here for the PowerPoint presentation, there is always going to be a regular PowerPoint and an audio PowerPoint. Okay, so once you've completed and learned that material, you're going to come back to Blackboard, right? And in this case, you have a simulation training down here, Windows 10 simulation training. I actually have a separate video that teaches you how to do simulations. You're going to have simulations every unit, so make sure you understand how these work. This is a worthwhile video to watch. There's really no reason why you couldn't get 100 on simulation trainings. If you watch this video, it will show you how to do that. And then you will have common features end of chapter questions. And so, just to point out here, this is a graded assignment, this is a graded assignment. You see the little Pearson, right? I recommend that you use these links. But what I want to show you is that if I come back here to MyLab to Unit 1, it's just linking you to everything that's in this Unit 1 assignments folder. So these are the 3 different items, right, that are listed, linked over here that have these Pearson icons. I do recommend that you go from Blackboard, that you don't just go to MyLab to the assignments and just try to do the assignments, because then you're not really learning what you need to know, because there might be other things that you need to know that aren't part of the questions that might be on future assignments. So it's important that you learn the material and just don't do the homework. Okay, and also there may be assignments in Blackboard that are not in MyLab. So that's the other reason why it's important that you just don't go to the assignments folder in MyLab, that you use the links that are presented here. Okay, so once you've completed so a couple other things to note here, you get 2 tries on end of chapter questions. So once you do them once and then you look at what you got wrong, you try to figure out, and then you do them again if you want, and I'll take the best score every time. Okay, simulation, you actually can do that 5 times. You can learn that in the training itself. And then for this particular unit, you do have 2 discussion board. You can pick one or the other. You don't have to do both. And then at the very end, you have your journal. So hopefully you feel a little bit more comfortable with how to navigate MyLab. I'm always going to give you this MyLab IT course content link. You're just going to have to know what unit it is that you need to go to. Obviously, this week it's going to be Unit 1. Next week it'll be Unit 2, and then Unit 3, etc. Okay. At any point in time, you could also come up here to MyLab. And this MyLab IT course content is basically the same link that I have provided for you in the Unit 1 folder. So they bring you to the same place. They just literally bring you into MyLab and show you those different options for, you'll see Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3 as they become open. So when they're open in Blackboard, they'll be open in MyLab. So as always, reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to help, and I hope this made this assignment a little bit clearer for you.